How's it going, everyone? RNG Life here. And today we are actually just running something different for a change. We're actually just doing this loner deck duel. I mainly wanted to run it just because the deck they give you is terrible. It's really bad. I have run this deck already 3 times, and on all 3 times I have lost. I always end up drawing a handful of level 5 or higher monsters like Dark Magician Girl. They're all level 5 or higher for some reason. That's 1 level 4, 2 level 4s, 3. Look, there's only like 5 monsters that you can normally summon. I think that's why they decided to throw in Stray Lambs. And I mean, also the deck is a 25 card deck, and just a few little hints for anybody who actually is trying to make a deck. Don't make a deck like this, please. Don't make a deck like this. This deck is so bad. Like for instance, Jargreed. Jargreed has an effect where it's basically just draw a card. If you're running a deck that is over 20 cards, don't run Jargreed. You're gonna get the same effect. Actually, I've lost because I have Jargreed in this deck. When you run it in a deck over 20 cards, the whole point of Jargreed is to run a 19 card deck or so, just to get into what you need easier. So the fact that this deck is 25 cards and it runs it's counterproductive. I've literally drawn hands with all level 5 or higher monsters in a Jargreed, and I ended up losing because that extra card could have been a level 4 monster, but it wasn't. Actually, I did end up losing because I had to Jargreed my first turn. I had no monsters. I set Jargreed. I had to activate it to draw, and I ended up drawing YuGiOh the Magic Swordsman. So basically, if I just didn't run Jargreed, I would have had him first turn, and then I could have summoned him. My opponent's using a ritual deck, so they usually go for a Sonic Bird to search out the ritual spell. And I would have been able to beat it up with YuGiOh the Magic Swordsman, but since I wasn't able to do that, my opponent did manage to gain enough advantage over me to the point where he just managed to run me over with his ritual monster. If I even get the chance to tribute, then we should be okay. But even then, a lot of the cards that you would tribute for in this deck are just really bad. Nobody runs Dark Lord Marie. This card is terrible. I think it gives you 200 life points if it's in the graveyard every turn. But I mean, that's not very useful to speeding up the game. I'm gonna go ahead and start the match just to see how well I do. Another thing I found interesting was that in this match, I expected it to be like a Yugi versus Kaiba deck or something along those lines. But actually, no. This is just a deck versus a random NPC. Yeah, Andrew.
It's time. According to my
okay.
calculations,
Alright, so I lucked out and I ended up drawing 1 monster that I can actually normal summon once in 3 duels, which are not good odds. I'm gonna go ahead and summon it. This hand actually does look workable for the first time. And check on my stuff. This guy can be normal summoned if he's the last card, and if this was a dark, I'd be able to equip. But
my turn is done. My turn.
Alright, so. And like I said earlier, my opponent is running a ritual deck. So let's see if I finally am able to overpower her.
I draw a card.
Okay, cost down. Alright, so. Alright, I'm gonna do something smart, kind of. Not really. Yes, I'm gonna do something smart. Alright, I'm gonna set.
I set this card face down.
And I'm gonna set this as well.
I set a card.
And it should let me normal? Yes!
Here I go.
I'm able to actually normal summon Gaia. I didn't know you can actually do that kind of play. But yeah, look, I managed to finally summon Gaia. So it looks like I am gonna end up winning now. So now that I am, I guess, ahead of my opponent, this should go by pretty quick. I'm just going to run him over as fast as possible because I don't want to deal with his ritual monster, which I think it's called North Wemco or something like that. So let's go ahead and just take him out. Oh, of course, ritual decks. Alright, so That's another annoying thing. Hopefully he doesn't have more than one. Alright.
My turn is done.
The data never lie. I'm drawing a card. I set a monster face complete.
Alright, so it looks like for the first time we're actually gonna get a win. Just because of the fact that I've finally gotten hand advantage over them, and that all came from having that Neil the Magic Swordsman first turn. Usually my hands would consist of basically the hand I have now, except I would never draw Thunder Skull, but my hands would always be Dark Magician Girl, Mephist, and they would just be terrible. So now that I am in the lead, I guess, I'm gonna go ahead and just start kind of wrecking. Summon this guy, just to kind of play over whatever he has set. Not you. Alright, go ahead and start taking him out. But yeah, I was making this video just to kind of show you guys that a little bit of how decks work, what kind of cards you should and shouldn't run. This game does offer tips on deck building. Alright, so on the offensive. That's not the scary one. Alright, yeah, so I pretty much win. And I could just style on him. See if I can. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just style on him with that Dark Magician Girl. And let's throw away you. Plan normal. Bring her up, see if he has an animation.
Magician has a disciple who can more than hold her own. Say hello to Dark Magician Girl!
Alright, hello Dark Magician Girl. Well, I mean, she's not really that great, to be honest. She's just kind of there, honestly. She's not really a strong card. Her effect is terrible. Because Dark Magician is hard to summon to begin with. At least in this game. Hard to summon, so is Magician of Black Chaos, since Magician of Black Chaos is a ritual. So you would have to go through all the effort of summoning a Magician of Black Chaos or a Dark Magician, which would be either a 1 tribute or 2 for Dark Magician, depending if you use Cost Down. And even then, Cost Down is 1, the card you discard is 2, and then the tributed card is 3. That would be, you would be expending 3 cards to bring out 1 card, which is already terrible. And then it's just a vanilla 2500. I mean, I know we all got those prismatic Dark Magicians and Blue Eyes, but even then, they're not that great. And he's only at 25. Not really that great. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. I'm just going to go ahead and just wreck my opponent, unless he's got any more Karibos. Probably doesn't. Alright, so for the first time, I actually beat this guy. Previously, I was just raging. I was just mad. I was getting salty because his deck was terrible. Alright, but yeah, I just pretty much wanted to show you guys how to balance a deck well, because this deck is just terrible. Don't ever run a deck like this unless you have a way to special summon multiple monsters that enables you to bring out all your level 5 or highers. And this card's just bad. Don't run certain cards. Like, if a monster is a level 5 or higher, and it has 1700 attack, it has to have an amazing effect. Like, this guy has a really good effect. If it has a 1819, which is like Mephist, Parshath, I think, also has a really, really good effect. And this guy kind of destroys your opponent's hand advantage. In contrast to those cards, this card is just bad. This card is terrible. You don't get any game-breaking effects like those, where it's basically just on the field, it's useless. In the grave, it has an option. It has some viability. And also, just for people in the comments, I ain't racist. It's not because this card is black. It's not because this card is black or anything. I swear. But this card is just not very great. I know. In the recent update that everybody was bumped up to max level 35. I think Yugi, if you farm him all the way to 35, you actually can unlock Swift Guy of the Fierce Knight. And this card actually seems like it's a really good card. I would definitely splash it into other decks, especially because it's dark. I mean, eventually we are going to get a lot of good dark support, so that's great. Here's hoping for that Chaos Dragon build that we hopefully get in the future. But yeah, that was pretty much all I wanted to show you guys today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys.